Hi, I'm Liz. In today's class, we'll dig deeper into performance marketing, exploring personas, empathy maps, narratives, campaigns, lead scoring, and all those TLAs. That's three-letter acronyms like AQL, MQL, SQL, SAL, and more. Enjoy. Well, hello, everybody. This is Liz.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are here for class number 2 of the Introduction to Full Funnel Marketing, Marketing for Event Professionals. Last time we were together, we talked about the buyer's journey, the marketing funnel, leads, lead progression, sales accepted leads, marketing automation, and content management. So today, we are focusing on how performance marketing drives the bottom line. Specifically, we're going to go through performance marketing, demand generation, lead generation, cohorts, personas and avatars, and campaigns, and something called a campaign planning framework, which is probably my favorite thing in all of marketing. So, without further ado, let's kick it off.
Yay!
Let's start off with types of events. We touched on this briefly last week. Thought leadership, demand generation, lead generation, progression, and hospitality and appreciation are all types of events that are going to align with your proprietary, third party, or ancillary activities. So the types of events that we're talking about today align with the funnel. Thought leadership is going to get your message out there into the market so that people understand you, your company, your product is ahead of its time, is ahead of everybody else. You want people to look at you as the bleeding edge educator for whatever it is that you are solving. Demand generation. As we move down the funnel, demand generation hits the learn phase because you have already gotten your thought leadership message out there. You're doing this concurrently. This isn't necessarily sequential. They're all happening at the same time. But demand gen is people that are actively looking for a solution. So in this phase, you are helping them learn. You're providing them with content that's going to help them learn how to solve their problems specifically with your tools. Next, those lead generating events. So lead generating, demand gen is actually telling people you have a solution to their problem, creating demand for your product or solution. Lead generation is finding those people. Now, the people have said, I am interested in yours, and I'm going to hand over my contact information, because you remember that a lead is someone giving you their contact information in exchange for value. So now we're in the try phase where they are getting something back for giving you their contact info.
Lovely.
It is. And now the progression phase. So progression events are you've either got someone right at the end of a deal and you're going to push them into buy, or you've got a small deal with them and you're going to push them to buy more. So these are a type of event that your sales makers really, really, really love. We like to call them in the corporate world deal acceleration events. So you've had a long, loving relationship with your customer and you have made it to the point where you really would like them to hurry up and sign. Please. So a progression event is going to get them to go, okay, this is it. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Ink on the dotted line. That's what we love. Now, then your hospitality and appreciation events are to thank those amazing, lovely, fantastic customers of yours for being fantastic customers of yours. Hospitality and appreciation, think of it as those field events where you're just bringing the customers that have already purchased to a nice dinner, or if you're at a third-party trade show, then maybe you're throwing the big party for your customers. That's where these normally fit in.
I call them schmoozin' events.
They are indeed. But the ones that are really important for performance marketing are the ones that we're going to be able to track. We really, throwing a big giant party for 5,000 customers is an amazing hospitality event, but it's not necessarily going to drive your performance marketing metrics that you need. So I want to go back to the basics and talk about definitions of performance marketing. Performance marketing is a comprehensive term, meaning it now is used for a whole lot of stuff that it didn't used to be used for before. But it refers to online marketing, advertising platforms where the companies are paid, Google, for example, or Facebook, they're paid when an action is completed. That's how performance marketing started. It was purely a digital marketing metric. So a sale.
Top results.
Ooh. Google heard me asking about her and she offered her support. Thanks, Googs. So back to our digital marketing bit, CPM, CPC, CPL, and CPA are all digital marketing metrics that you would track if you were running ads, if you're doing clicks. So CPM is cost per 1,000 views. This price depends on how often your ad is displayed to a user, how many users are going to be seeing it. So depending on where you're putting your advertising out there, this is a metric that you're going to track. CPC is cost per click. So if you've got an ad out there and 5,000 people are seeing it per day, one of the metrics your digital team might be looking at is how much does it cost every time someone clicks on it. CPL is a cost per lead. So beyond just clicking on it, they're actually giving you their contact information and becoming a lead. So when they provide that info, cost per lead is a metric your digital team is going to look at. And then CPA, cost per action. Generally, that's something that requires a credit card, or it's a little bit deeper down in the funnel where people are purchasing something, but a CPA is a metric that your team might be using. So that performance marketing conversation was a digital conversation. Now remember, what we're doing here today is taking the modern marketing concepts and applying them broadly across marketing and events. And that's where we bring it to the new definition of performance marketing. I love this stuff and I get really excited. So I know I'm going fast because the digital stuff that you guys want to know is important, but it's not what you're really here to learn about. So the current definition that you need to care about is that corporations have morphed this demand generation performance marketing thing to be any marketing tactic that's intended to drive pipeline and revenue and is measurable by those metrics. So you might remember that last week we talked about marketing automation, where when you get the lead, you're able to track it all the way through the funnel in your systems and know that when Bob got his badge scanned at your trade show booth, you knew when the salesperson followed up with him, an opportunity was opened, it became pipeline, the nurture happened, maybe he came to some webinars along the way, and then a sale happened and that became revenue. All the metrics along there that you're tracking that watched Bob move down the pipeline, this is your performance marketing initiative. So, more definitions. Now, we talked through some of these last time, so this is going to be, again, pretty quick. Performance marketing, we just went through. Demand gen, remember that demand gen is getting people to want your product, service, or solution. Lead gen is getting people to give you their contact info in exchange for some piece of value. Now, a campaign is your specific defined set of activities used to market your product, solution, or event. So that's what we're here to talk about now. We want to tie this back to how it's related to events. So the campaign is designed to capture leads, and it has this defined set of activities to market. So that's
would you
all
say that
theoretical. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's why one of the reasons that we call virtual events digital campaigns.
That is exactly right. So we're going to get into that whole campaign piece. Now, I want to take you back to the world of the living where we used to have events live and in person and talk about using an event as a vehicle in a campaign. So your campaign managers, your digital campaign managers, all the folks in the rest of your marketing team, maybe it's you if you're at a smaller company and you're doing all of these things, should be viewing events as a dot on a larger campaign. So, for example, let's take a look at if your campaign was a lead gen campaign for a new hotel property. So you're launching a new hotel, you want to figure out how you're going to capture more contact information so that you can market to the people that you want to market to come to your hotel, book a meeting at your hotel. We're probably not going to talk about the travel industry. We're going to talk more about groups and events here for these purposes. So looking through this campaign idea, on this slide, here's our statement of the campaign, lead gen for a new hotel property. In the discover phase, now think I've got this going vertically, or I've got it going horizontally, but think about your buyer's journey vertically that we've been looking at. Discover on the far left. Perhaps your discover phase of the campaign is advertising. So you put a full page ad in Smart Meetings magazine. You know, the circulation is completely insanely amazing. That is the place where you want people to know that you exist from a discover standpoint. Now, maybe you're going to go down the learn phase and you're going to partner with BizBash and get a video feature because these people at BizBash, they are specifically going to those websites to search for opportunities to find a new venue. So you want to get that video featured. Maybe you're going to do a sponsored video there. Your learn phase is also going to include these targeted Facebook ads, not because people are searching Facebook for the ads, but within this digital campaign, you're able to retarget where people have seen you already. So if they saw your ad in Smart Meetings and they Googled you or they put in your URL, or if they saw your video in BizBash, you're able to track them with these pixels, which we'll talk about later, so that when they're just scrolling through Facebook, your ads are going to pop up for them. And have you ever sat there and had a conversation with friends and then picked up your phone and then 7 ads are fed right to you and you thought, my phone's microphone is turned on?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's that feeling, but here's what's happening. It's taking those pixels that have been dropped, your little cookie crumbs everywhere you went, and it's serving up exactly something relevant to you. Hey, you happen to be searching for a venue and it happened to be on your Facebook feed. Fantastic. So now people have learned that you exist. They've learned that you are a venue that is in an area that maybe people are looking for. So now you want to get to the try phase. How do you try a hotel? Well, there's a lot of ways to try a hotel, but thinking about the event world, perhaps you want a booth at IMEX, one of the largest, most impressive hotel event management events on the planet. You could go get in front of all of those people in the audience, live and in person. You can have one-on-one meetings with people that want to set up time with you, with your hosted buyers. This is now trying a conversation and getting a much more deeper understanding. Now, a deep try, if you really are looking at booking an event, would be to go on a FAM trip to the venue. So as the venue, you may host a FAM where you bring 15 of your top customers or prospects in to experience the thing. The thing, that's a technical term. The event, the venue, the experience. So I'll just pause there and take a look at events as a vehicle on a campaign. We're actually looking at the hotel property and went through where you would use events. So the one event that we did here was the IMEX booth. And then the FAM trip was the next event. So IMEX booth being third party, remember where that fit in, and then FAM trip being your proprietary event. Nicole, how'd I do?
Great. Yep, I get it.
You get it. Amazing.
Yes.
So now let's talk about the messaging part of that. So now that took us through the tactics in every dot of the campaign, which you saw how it perfectly aligned to the funnel. Now the messaging part. Let's look at the discover phase, perhaps just looking at the IMEX booth experience, that one little event. So actually, let me go back and restate. Your marketing people are going to look at an event as a vehicle on your campaign. What we're going to do now is work on a campaign about your event.
Yes.
So I'm going to reverse it because this, if you're not on the marketing team and you're in the event team, but you need to work with the marketing team, how do you want to market your presence at IMEX? So I want you to think about your booth. Now, the discover phase of this booth is going to be you emailing out all of the people in your contact list, telling them that you're going to be at IMEX, to book a meeting with you, to come by your booth, to get the free t-shirt, whatever it is you're doing. Now, the learn phase, maybe you reach out to corporate event news and explain that your booth is going to be absolutely insanely amazing and people have the chance to win this, and try to get featured in some news publications about your presence so people can learn why they would come chat with you. Now, the try, maybe you're one of these hotels that has a heavenly mattress. So what if your entire booth had like this amazing bed? Okay, in the time of COVID, maybe that's not the thing that everybody goes and lays down on, but think about this back in the old days, remember BC, before Corona. So you can try the heavenly mattress. And then the buy phase. So this is how IMEX specifically works, which is having conversations with your RFP. But what better chance do you have than having people come to IMEX as a hosted buyer with an RFP in hand and have a one-on-one meeting? Maybe if they sign on the dotted line with you, they get a free reception for their group of 200 or more. However you can plan that out. But you just took your one booth and did an entire buyer's journey on the messaging to get people to come see you there.
Best ever.
That's how this stuff works. Yay, I get so excited about this.
Me too.
All right, now let's dial it down, dial it back, and we'll slow down to talk metrics. There are so many TLAs that you need to know. A TLA stands for a 3-letter acronym. And in this world, the TLAs are very, very important because performance marketing is things you can measure, specific actions that you can measure. So first, let's talk about response. The first measurement that everyone looks at is, we've heard impressions in the social media world. Oh, my post on Twitter got 8 million impressions. Well, woohoo, good job. Also, response is the same thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they responded by being a lead or by giving you anything. So check with your corporate marketing team as to how they're using impressions and response, because this can vary company to company. But overall, response simply means someone saw it. They didn't even have to engage with it. They just saw it. And all of your social media and digital platforms are going to be able to tell you how many views you got, even if no one engaged with the content. Next, a lead. This is very easy to track because someone gave you their contact info. How many leads did you get? 42. Yes, that was easy. Now, AQL, MQL, SAL, and SQL are really, really, really important to your marketing team and your sales ops teams. AQL is an automation qualified lead. That means that you're not handing a list of leads to a salesperson and they're looking through them and going, okay, this one looks good, this one looks good. They're not following up to tell you if they're good or not. You have a system in place within your marketing automation tool to qualify the lead based on a whole bunch of different things. It could be the company they work for, the title they have. There may even be information in your system already about that particular person and how they've interacted with your content. So these system automations can actually score the lead before it gets to sales. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. And it's very important though. MQL, this was what we talked about last time, that you have qualified the lead because you gave something of value, you received information. So it is a marketing qualified lead, which means they're interested in your company. Maybe they were interested in the t-shirt with your company, but they were interested in something. So marketing has qualified them in some way. A sales accepted lead means sales said, okay, they didn't just want the t-shirt. They actually do have a need for our solution. And sales has said, yes, I accept this lead. We're going to turn it into something. A sales qualified lead actually means that sales has uncovered an opportunity there. So they've made contact, they found out that the customer is looking to purchase within the right time frame, they do have the budget for it, and they do have an interest in it. So now they are an SQL, a sales qualified lead. In some companies, they call this a validated lead.
Mm-hmm. I have a question about the MQL. Is that not where most of the field marketing teams and the events that they do, is that where they spend the majority of their time?
Absolutely. That really should be what all of your events are doing, is creating MQLs. Unless you're doing events for the sales team that are that deal acceleration, bottom of the funnel kind of conversation, pretty much everything you're doing that's going to be top of funnel and middle of funnel, tofu and mofu, is going to be an MQL event.
Cool.
So moving on down to number 7, pipeline opportunities we talked about last time. Your sales team talks to the client or talks to the lead, finds out that there's an opportunity there, opens up pipeline. Some companies call this a VLRC, which is validated lead revenue. They'll call it the revenue count, or validated lead revenue count, which is how many of them there were. So you're going to see huge Fortune 50 companies with all of these lead metrics, and they have all these different kind of qualifiers. So it's up to you to go sit down with your marketing ops folks and really understand which metrics they're using and how they're using them. But hopefully this will give you a guideline to the definition so you don't feel like an idiot when you go have that conversation, because it's very intimidating to sit down with people with all of these TLAs and go, okay, just tell me everything. At least you can walk in and say, okay, I know what pipeline is, but I don't know this acronym, and you'll feel a little bit more confident. So moving on down to wins. WC stands for win count. So some companies may count how many wins there are, and some companies may count what the win amount is. So some just check and see. The win should be how many there are. The sales revenue or win revenue should be the dollar figure. So if you did a big trade show and you got 40 people in as your sales qualified leads, and you actually converted 5 of those, and each of them were $100,000, then you've got 5 wins for $500,000. Make sense?
Totally.
So let's go back just a little bit to talk about the responses and the impressions. So when you're doing in-person events, there's the trade show. Maybe you're at a third-party event and there's 100,000 people at the show. What you're reporting in that slide that goes to the executives shouldn't be necessarily that you got 100,000 impressions. Because just because you had a booth or you had your logo sitting in a program doesn't necessarily mean that they are valid impressions. So if you are going to say that, because impressions is something that people understand, when you put that there were 100,000 impressions, you should qualify that as total number of attendees at the event. Also, check in with your event salesperson that you purchased that sponsorship from, because a lot of companies inflate the numbers just a teeny bit. So see if you can dig down a little bit and find out how many were actually in the persona you were going after, whether they were customers or partners. Some companies like to include how many of their own employees were at the event, and even the crew that checked in during the registration process. They'll just take that really big number and put the whole thing out there. So depends on what you're trying to do with the numbers. If you're just trying to make it look good on a slide, go for the big number. If you're trying to get the real numbers and really have a strategic conversation, dig a little deeper. So the lead part, obviously we talked about the lead is you received contact information from someone, and this could come from badge scans, survey responses, business card in a bowl, however you get it. They hand wrote it on an Excel sheet or spreadsheet, whatever. You've got this contact information. Now, how do you go through the process to decide if it is someone that sales should follow up with? Mm-hmm. So the first thing I want to share is the automation qualified leads. So these are those scores based on digital activity. Now, we've just gone through an entire example of live in-person events. If you think about all the digital events that you're doing right now, you've got webcasts, you've got third-party events that you're a part of. You're even finding people in Slack and you're bringing them, there's field Slack groups out there where you're able to qualify some leads from. Wherever you're pulling them in from, you're still going through the same process of putting them in a sheet of some kind and loading them into your sales automation tool or marketing automation tool for nurture and for follow-up. So this automation qualified lead thing is very important. And it scores these leads generally by their email address based on the activity that the internet is able to find on people. This is highly terrifying as a consumer because everything I click on, everything I search for, everything I buy from Amazon is tracked somewhere out there. And people are able to understand if I'm really interested in their product or if I just wanted the freebie that they were offering. So I want to share this video with you about automated qualifying of leads. It's a commercial. It's for Pardot, which is owned by Salesforce, and they do CRM, they do marketing automation. And I know that it's a demo of the tool, but it is a really, really fantastic explainer video for what it actually does. And so I want to share that with you because I think it's important and I think it's really helpful. And I think that they did a really good job of creating this video.
With Pardot B2B Marketing Automation by Salesforce, you instantly know which of your leads are most likely to buy at any moment. Scoring and grading lets you prioritize the best prospects, making it easy to find and focus on your hottest leads. Leads are analyzed on valuable insights like demographic criteria, such as industry and job title, as well as level of interest and brand engagement. Scores increase and sales is alerted when a prospect interacts with your company or shows a stronger buying signal. And leads that aren't yet ready to talk with your sales team can be nurtured until they're sales ready. Automation rules make sure the best leads are proactively assigned to sales, creating a record in your CRM and triggering an alert for the rep. Sales can quickly understand a prospect's priorities, interests, and pain points, and see everything from lead score and grade to past activities displayed right in Salesforce. Now, you're able to call on the right lead at precisely the right time. Sell smarter and faster with Pardot from Salesforce.
So I think that's really helpful because it takes you through all the steps that the automation tool is doing. And if you've never been inside Salesforce before, that probably wasn't very helpful and it's kind of overwhelming the way that it's formatted. But if you use Salesforce at your company, now you can understand this, how the sales teams are using it. And usually it's the inside sales reps that are keeping up with all the accounts and all the activity that's in there. But whenever a lead gets automatically qualified, it then shares it with that sales rep to go follow up with, which I think is super cool. So back to the qualifying, that was automated qualifying leads. Now marketing qualified leads are your marketing team scoring the lead based on their likelihood to progress. So that means, is the lead actually going to move further with a sales conversation, or are they going to ghost your sales team completely and never answer the phone? Because sales doesn't like it when you send them those leads. And they won't answer the rest of your leads either. So you want to qualify them. A very, very simple way to qualify your leads is during the point where you are collecting the lead information, you add a little checkbox that says, please have a salesperson contact me. So easy.
Poof.
If someone clicks that button, you should send those to sales because they're expecting that phone call. It is the easiest, lowest barrier to entry to getting that marketing qualified lead to qualify themselves as being sales ready. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do go through the leads and you can score them based on the account, you know when you have a trade show booth who's the trick-or-treater that's just looking for the free stuff you're giving versus who's really a lead. You had a conversation with them. And so there is that ability for you to qualify them based on the conversation. And even the same thing with the events that you're running online right now, the roundtable sessions that we lead, we have this engagement report concept where in the roundtables, we're able to track if someone is having a question or talking or bringing up any specific questions, you can qualify those just very manually on paper on your spreadsheet so that the sales team knows they should follow up with them. Mm-hmm. The leads that are deemed sales ready pass directly onto sales. Perhaps you have a digital readiness team, or sometimes they call them, what do they call them these days? The digital demand gen teams, the DDMs, whoever you can give a list of your leads to, and they're going to do some of that qualification for you. Sometimes they're paid for by the sales team, sometimes by the marketing team, but check in with your marketing operations folks and find out how they've got it set up. Leads that are not deemed sales ready can go into your digital nurture stream. So this is where you go into those drip campaigns we talked about last week, and you just send them nice emails every once in a while and keep them nurtured until they're ready to convert and have a conversation with you. So now the sales accepted lead. So sales agrees it's a viable lead, and you no longer hear all the leads that marketing sends me are crap. So we want to focus on eliminating that. You can qualify these from a marketing qualification standpoint as a lot of them say they're cold, warm, or hot. A lot of companies will just use that. Very simple. It's cold lead, so ignore it completely. Warm lead, keep it in the nurture pile. Hot lead, pass it over to sales. This one that I've got on slide 16 here is a low interest lead, an e-nurture prospect, and a sales ready lead. So you can qualify these based on the conversation. You can do them digitally, like we just showed you in the automated qualification process. Either way, find out from your marketing teams how they're qualifying them. So at a trade show, the way that we have in the past set up our lead scoring is 4 key questions, and then that fifth big one that I just asked you. So the first one is product interest. So maybe you work for a company that has 897,000 products. I used to work for Fortune 500 companies that have so many products. So how can you possibly know what people are looking there in the booth for? But capturing that product interest in the digital form or in the scanner. And then if they have budget for the project, getting them to put down a price range. If they have decision-making power, because it might be amazing that they are looking to re-infrastructure their entire data center and there's a $10 million budget for that. But if they're the entry-level developer that's worked there for 6 months, So you want to find out, do they have decision-making power to have this conversation or further this conversation? Or maybe they're just influential within the org and they know someone else who has that decision-making power. So you're going to have to judge that. Mm-hmm. And then your purchase intent. When are you looking to implement a solution? So this is what sales is really going to care about. If they're in the 2-year process, maybe sales isn't going to go follow them up as a hot lead. If they're going to buy within 3 to 6 months, that's a conversation to have. Now, of course, the question I just mentioned, would you like a sales representative to contact you? Why, yes, I would. Okay.
Yes, please.
Now they're important. So going into the sales thing, the sales world, you might have heard of something called BANT. This is how sales is going to qualify the lead. So you gave them a giant spreadsheet of leads. You gave them every single thing that they did, either in the virtual event or in the live in-person event. And now sales is going to go through those, have a conversation that finds out, do they really have budget? Do they really have the authority to make the decision? Do they really have a need for the product or solution I'm offering them? And what is their time frame for purchase? Sales is going to use this BANT process to qualify the lead. And if they don't meet the threshold for any of those four, it is now not a sales qualified lead or a sales accepted lead. Now, if it's a sales qualified lead, that means that they had this conversation, that the budget, authority, need, and time frame matched what they were looking for, and they found out that there's money there and there's a possibility. You've just opened pipeline, you've created an opportunity in your sales automation system, and hooray! Good job.
Winning.
So we've talked through the buyer's journey. We've talked through the marketing funnel. We even talked a little bit about the sales funnel, but let's focus in on all three of them lining up next to each other. Modern marketing has changed the sales funnel so drastically. Used to, the sales funnel was simply, they take that marketing qualified lead, they would qualify it as a sales lead, open the opportunity, and then work it till they win it. Marketing has this marketing funnel that expands beyond what the sales funnel is. So you've got this awareness, interest, consideration part of the marketing funnel that marketing owns. And then after sales closes it, you've got this support, loyalty, advocacy funnel that the marketing teams, maybe even the support teams, maybe there's a customer success team owns. So modern marketing, putting in this buyer's journey piece, allows now expansion of the conversation with the customer. So your sales teams and your marketing teams should be more tightly knit than ever. But what we see in most corporations is because there are so many steps and there's so much content and there's so much automation, sales and marketing are farther apart than they've ever been before. So you, if you're looking to advance your career, can do so by recreating that connection with sales. When your sales team understands that you understand their piece of the funnel, and your sales team understands that you understand the pieces that surround their funnel, your conversations are going to be much more strategic and much more fruitful, and you're going to get them to answer your call anytime you pick up the phone.
And when you put things together, events for them, they're going to be much more receptive to invite their customers because they know that you understand where they're at, what they need more of, where you need to push and pull, where they are in the buyer's journey. So you can build events and experiences around those things to fill whatever pocket is missing. And you will be a rock star, really. Like if you can bridge that gap, wow, your career is on a really good path.
Exactly right. Now, let's talk about the organization that you may belong to and where marketing and sales fit. So marketing now owns so much of this marketing funnel. In the old days, marketing had awareness, interest, and consideration. So it was marketing's job to fish, reel them in, pass it to sales, and then never see the customer again. Marketing used to just be right there doing all that outboundy stuff. Now, marketing is in that top of funnel. Sales takes that middle piece, but then at the bottom part, marketing is taking back over the support, loyalty, and advocacy programs. So there's so many more opportunities within marketing for you to get a role. And thinking about your event portfolio, there may be event specialists in every piece of the funnel. So on that awareness level, maybe your corporate brand team is doing your large proprietary events that are super high-end awareness campaigns, all the way to the advocacy and loyalty group. You might have a customer marketing, account-based marketing team for people that are already customers of yours, where there are specific event planners that are managing those entire programs. So if you are in an event role throughout your marketing organizations, there may be marketing and event roles in other pockets of your corporation. So think about the awareness phase. You may have a corporate team that's doing your large proprietary events that are awareness based, or road shows that are in that interest consideration phase. But then on the flip side, on the bottom, you can find opportunities within your customer advocacy and customer marketing teams and your account-based marketing teams. These are for customers that already exist of yours, and you may have entire event programs completely dedicated to those. So if you're looking to expand your role within the corporation and get access to other groups, consider exploring these. If you're looking to create a new role for yourself, there's opportunity everywhere. Create a business case for it and go after it.
Yes, 100%. That is so true.
So let's talk about marketing's job. Marketing's job is to fill the pipeline. Now that you know what the marketing funnel looks like, where sales fits in, your job is to fill that pipeline. Now, the advocacy and loyalty program, what's its purpose? Its purpose isn't just to keep people happy. Its purpose is to keep people happy so they keep buying from you. So even those loyalty and advocacy programs are to ensure that those customers keep coming back to you. The cost of acquisition of a new customer is 3 to 4 times higher than keeping a customer you already have. So your job as a marketer is fill the pipeline. Now, talking through that whole how modern marketing has changed the sales funnel, there is lead pipeline and opportunity pipeline within the sales funnel. So you may be feeding your sales team with marketing qualified leads. Now, your marketing operations team is going to measure both of these things. So we're talking KPIs, these key performance indicators, the metrics that you're reporting on. The pipeline is the number of leads you're handing over. You got 1,000 leads this last quarter. You're able to say, we generated 1,000 new leads. Then there's the money associated with it, which is those 1,000 new leads represent $2.5 million in potential opportunity for the company. So understanding those metrics, the dashboards that your marketing ops teams are creating, when you complete an event and you're able to see these numbers, being able to speak to those and talk about your lead pipeline and your opportunity pipeline will help you up-level the conversation you're having and give you a broader marketing career.
I would say too, is to be able to talk about when these things need to happen and understanding where the pressure is on your sales team, like at the beginning of the quarter, not so much at the end of the quarter, hair on fire. So as you plan things around that, make sure that you take into consideration, although it might be amazing and help their, thing at the time, just where's their pressure and consider that.
I think that's a really good point. Have you ever had an event that you've been working on for months and months and months, only to have the sales team not reach out and invite customers to it? And isn't it sales' job to invite customers to these events so that they can progress their deals? You would think that that's what's going on. But to Nicole's point, if it is end of quarter, the sales teams are working on closing the deals that are in the pipeline right now. They don't need your demand gen activity. They need your deal acceleration activity. So coordinating with sales and understanding the flow of when they need certain types of events, again, you're going to be a rock star in your organization.
And that not many people can do all of these things. It's actually very easy. They just don't do them for some reason. So this is a really easy way to completely stand out and add huge value.
Now comes the slide that every marketing and sales team fights over all the time. Marketing create versus marketing influence. If marketing created the lead from scratch, marketing gets all the credit. Marketing was able to say, I held this event. I found 10 people that had never heard of us before. I got their contact information, and now they have become leads. What normally happens is your sales team says, yeah, but I talked to Bob last week at that other trade show, so you didn't really create that lead. He just recognized it because I passed him in the hallway and gave him my business card, and he already knew about our company, and he knew that our booth was going to be there, and he came to you, but I really opened that lead. So you really just influenced that conversation. You didn't actually create that opportunity. Yeah. So how do you get around that? It's true. There's always this butting heads thing. Now, your metrics are going to clear that up at least a little bit. No one's ever going to believe if the event was 100% marketing create activity versus marketing influenced activity, meaning sales already had a relationship with them and you just furthered the pipeline. But it is trackable. If it is a new lead that is not in your system in any way, it is created by marketing. If you brought it in and it was added to your CRM system as a new lead, marketing created it. If it was already in your system, then either marketing created it in the past, but sales has reached out to them, or the sales team had loaded them in as a pre-existing lead. They were already in your tool. Then you assisted with being top of mind, with helping progress that lead a little bit. This is a very important metric for your marketing and sales leaders. So make sure that you know how this is being tracked within your organization. Talk to your marketing ops team, talk to your leadership, and find out how these metrics are being reported. When you're in a demand gen role for events, it is very important because you want to focus on the marketing created leads. Probably. There are instances where a marketing influence number is just as important and just as relevant. But just make sure you know the difference and make sure what you are being metriced on.
And I would say that understanding as well is what they need that year as an organization or whatever they're pushing that quarter. If, for example, they're saying, okay, we just need to grow our accounts, right? Well, now you know that you need to push more marketing influenced leads because they want to grow what they currently have, or maybe they have a new product and they need brand new customers, whatever the new segment is. That would be a marketing created focus. You just need to know that there is a difference.
That is exactly right. Now, when you're starting to look at dashboards, I've got a slide here that has a snapshot of a dashboard out of Salesforce. So if your company uses Salesforce and you've loaded the leads in for your event, you're able to see this event ROI dashboard. You can see what the pipeline was from that event. You can see how many leads there were. You can see this revenue. Maybe it breaks it out by region if you're a global company. And you can get all these great metrics, which is good for you as an event manager to know where this dashboard is or to ask for it from your sales or marketing ops team so that you can keep tabs on what's going on. But what you need to understand is that your marketing directors and the people above you are looking more broadly, not just at that one event. They are looking across an entire campaign or an entire portfolio of events. So this next view is looking through all of the campaigns. And remember, your event is a moment in time on a campaign. So as part of the campaign, they want to see how are the campaigns doing, because they're getting their $20 million a quarter that they're going to divvy up into the different kinds of campaigns. So they need to know at a higher level which campaigns are hitting. And if the events are part of that portfolio, are they working? So you need to have those conversations with your team to understand at the granular level for your event, and then how it rolls up to the campaign level, so that you're not surprised next year when an event you've gone to 3 years in a row pops up on the cutting list in the cutting room floor there because they don't want to go to that event anymore. Why? It might not have anything to do with that event. It might be that campaign has gone away and you don't need to be there anymore. So understanding that is, again, going to help you have more strategic conversations with your leadership team. So going even further into what the event directors and marketing directors are going to be measuring, it's more than just budget and pipeline and revenue. It is important for them to have an entire overview of what's going on with the funnel, the marketing funnel and the event funnel. There are tools like within Salesforce, you're able to see how much pipeline has been built for the quarter. And you can see that overall, where is it coming in from? For a specific event, you might be able to see the number of registrations, the number of sessions people went to. And that's very important if you're running a single global event and you can get all of that information on that one. But what's even more important is tying that to your overall portfolio. So I have a dashboard in here from a company called Jiffle Now, and they may take some information from your Salesforce tool and from what people are doing in their one-on-one meetings the example here is from CES, so at the Consumer Electronics Show. This dashboard is pulling in Salesforce data, it's pulling in data from the one-on-one meetings that were booked at the event, and it's pulling in persona profile data from attendees that came overall. So at a glance, your marketing director wants to know, how did CES go for you? You can pull in a dashboard like this and give them a beautiful view.
Very helpful.
Mm-hmm. All right. That was the hard stuff. That was the calculator, metrics, TLAs, all those things. That's the stuff that's going to advance your career. So it's very important. I went through it very fast. Feel free to reach out if you want to talk about it, or go watch the video again, because it is very, very, very important. Mostly you want to use these as a door opening conversation for your marketing ops team and your sales ops team if you're in a corporation, so that you can understand how they are metricing, how they are measuring everything that you're doing. But now, 'tis time for my real favorite stuff, the touchy-feely people things.
Yes.
We talked about marketing campaigns and that they are an activity that is specifically designed to boost new revenue and enhance customer interactions. So there are parts and pieces to what I call a campaign planning framework. You learned last week about a cohort and a persona, cohort being the segment of people you want to target, persona being your 3 to 5 perfect buyers that you want to go after. Now you got to create an offering for those perfect buyers. You have to create a value proposition for why those buyers should be working with you. Then you craft a narrative. This is the story, because this is all about story selling here, to bring them on the journey through your buyer's journey. And then you have to have assets that align to pieces of the journey and help you build the narrative. So slide 32. The campaign planning framework is something I put together that walks you through each of the 5 pieces. So number 1, identifying your cohort persona and developing an empathy map for them. Number 2, developing the offering for them. 3, that buyer-centric value prop. So it's not simply why you should buy my widget. It is why you will benefit from buying my widget. And then the narrative piece was number 4, and then mapping your assets to the funnel is number 5. So let's start out with that cohort and persona. Again, we talked through last week, the cohorts are segments. So this is how you're going to divvy up the people that you want to target. Last week, we brought Molly to you. She is our persona that we're going to focus on. She's our beautiful, perfect, amazing buyer that we want a bajillion of these buying everything that we do for us. Mm-hmm. So what we want to do is take Molly and use our empathy map to work through everything that Molly's going through. We want to understand Molly. We want to run every single one of our marketing campaigns through Molly and say, would Molly be interested in this service? Would Molly benefit from this? Would this save Molly time? That's your objective with an empathy map. What does the customer think and feel? Yes, what would you say?
Sorry, I would say that this is where this is where a lot of marketing and salespeople stop. And so they think, well, I have this drip campaign and I'm pushing them to these events. And I don't know, why does, Joe over here or whoever, Sally, I don't understand, like, what's going on. These things matter. So if you can be somebody that can do people first and then have understanding or vice versa, this is going to absolutely hugely affect your role and your salespeople's success rate.
And it's useful. I mean, even with some of the work that we do, we literally take a cutout of who this persona is that we're going after and keep that handy so that you can remind yourself, I'm going so far off my message here. Molly doesn't care about what I'm offering. So it helps you come back to your North Star. So we just walk through this. It's what does the customer think and feel? What's going on in their mind? What are they preoccupied with? We built that out a little bit with that persona model, but this is going through the real thinky parts. What are they hearing in the marketplace? What does their boss say about things? What are their friends saying? What's the customer seeing around them? Is the world crumbling around them, or is it in an amazing, wonderful state? And so they're kind of happy and they're seeing good things. What are they saying and doing publicly? What are they looking like? Let's say you sell a luxury brand. Well, you want to know if Molly is interested in luxury brand things, or maybe she's interested in luxury brand looking things, but that LV is not an LV after all. You got to know this about her.
Like Target.
That's right. What, that's me. What pain is she going through and what is she hoping to gain? What are her wants and needs and how does she measure success? Once you've done that for your persona, you're going to develop the offering for her. So an offering is, in marketing, it's the total offer that you're giving to your customer. It's more than the product. It's not, please buy my cup. It is the elements that represent the additional value that your customer has. So you're not just selling a coffee mug to your customer. Your customer is actually really interested in, they're working from home. They're stuck at the computer all day long because they're on Zoom meetings all day, every day. And so it's not about the coffee cup. It's about the coffee cup that keeps your coffee hotter longer. This will keep your coffee This will keep your coffee hot for 2 hours. So you can figure out exactly what offer is going to match the needs, wants, and desires of that persona. Mm-hmm. So the strongest offer is going to differentiate your product from your competitors. It's a coffee mug, or it's a coffee mug that keeps your coffee hot longer. You're going to create value by meeting their wider needs better than the other options that they have in front of them. So as you think through the offer, again, don't just say, this is what I have. Think through why that person cares. Mm-hmm. So I want to take you through an example of offers. There's my coffee cup offer, but whatever, that doesn't really match what we're talking about in the event world. So we did that you're a new hotel thing last time. So let's do that again. So you're a new hotel property in Atlanta. You're catering to business travelers that go to conventions. Your primary product is a hotel room, and your goal is high occupancy rates. So going through each of these steps, your cohort is business travelers at conventions. That's the segment that you're going after. Your persona is Molly. the working mom who's in town to exhibit at the conference. Going through the empathy map that you've built out for Molly, maybe you understand that she's concerned about incoming shipments. She's got 4,000 t-shirts that she has to give away. So she really is concerned with how she's going to get them, because picking them up from the FedEx center and getting them to her hotel room, that's going to be a big pain. Maybe she's concerned about safety in a downtown area. Maybe she's forced to stay at a company-approved preferred hotel. So knowing what's important to her helps you tweak your messaging. So perhaps knowing this, your offering is going to be a brand new downtown name brand hotel, 7 minutes by shuttle to the convention center, which runs continuously, by the way, from 5 a.m. until midnight, and a 24-hour business center to ship and receive packages. Mm-hmm. So you can see how your offer isn't just a shiny new hotel with great ballroom space and very comfortable rooms with free Wi-Fi. Your offer is very, very focused on the persona you're selling to. The more niche you get, believe it or not, the more you're going to resonate with the people that want to buy from you.
And I even say on top of that is your marketing of the offering that's written in blue is what are you showing? Are you showing the person or, like the staff that's carrying in the boxes for her? So these are not things that you say, they're things that you show. And so knowing that goes along with it, what does that actually look like for Molly, the working mom? And then maybe they even show her with like great Wi-Fi so she can call her kids at the end. And so at the end, she feels good. She's rocking her job and she's at a great safe place that totally helps her and that she loves.
Exactly. I love that. So part 3 is that buyer-centric value prop. Now, a value proposition, to take you through all these things, are the cohort, meaning you've got your segment, the need, what are their needs and challenges, the assertion of how you are addressing those needs and challenges, and then the outcome, what proof do you have that you can meet those needs with the assertions you've made, and then the differentiation of how and why are you better than the competition. Those are all the ingredients you need to create your value prop. It's crazy. That's very theoretical and conceptual. So how do you actually do it? Just like this. It's not that hard. It's very simple. The simplest way to do a value prop is we help X do Y doing Z. That's it. There's your value prop. You've identified the who, you've identified what they're trying to do, and you've identified how you're going to help them. There's another opportunity to do this, which is the for who, your target customer. The opportunity is that, and we'll go through filling each of these out for this example, but just so you can see there are multiple ways to create the value prop. The next one, the Eric Sink one, is your superlative, your label, and your qualifiers. So why are you choosing it? What is the product? And who is the audience? And then my favorite, which is the full sentence, it's really nice and easy to fill out, is to the person who wants to blank, my product solution is the only that can because of blank. So now let's fill them out. We help business travelers stay productive while on the road. You very specifically talked about your hotel and who you're targeting, what you're helping them do, and what they do and how it helps. So the next one down, for business travelers who need to be productive, Hotel Brand X is a business class hotel with services for professionals. Very clearly outlines it. Now, of course, these are super duper generic. You would want to go a lot more in depth. But as we're walking through these, you can see the benefits of how and where these would be useful. The next one, my superlative label qualifiers one. With all the amenities a business professional needs and close proximity to the convention center, Hotel Brand X is the best choice for the productive road warrior. And then finally, my favorite one that really walks you through it all. To the business traveler who wants to stay productive, Hotel Brand X understands what you need with our free shuttle to the convention center and 24-hour business center.
Yes. Hallelujah.
That's perfect. It's like your mission statement is how it feels, right? But obviously it's not your mission. That's why it's called the value prop. This is the value you have and you're offering it to someone very specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, value prop done. Moving on. So now we're on step 4, building your narrative. Ooh. Okay, the narrative is just the buyer's journey with messages that go with each phase of the journey. So your buyers have discover, learn, try, buy, adopt, and advocate. This is that funnel. You've seen it before. In the discover phase, your job is to identify their need and inform them of something and connect with them. So here is my stab at the discover phase content for this buyer. When you're on the road, you want access to all the comforts of business and home in a safe, clean environment close to your event. You would use this message in that full page ad that you're going to do in Smart Meetings magazine. This is that discover message. You want people to understand who you're targeting and what you can do for them. Depending on what kind of ad you're putting out there, in the learn phase, you might be able to go a little bit further and put this educational messaging in there. Why spend time and money trying to find your packages and pick up supplies when Hotel Brand X has a 24-hour business center? We'll even help you get the packages to the convention center on our free shuttles, complete with loaner carts and dollies. Wouldn't that be nice if the hotel did that for you? Oh, hotel people do that. I made that up, so I don't know if that exists anywhere, but I think it should. Mm-hmm. So now in the try phase, you're going to differentiate yourself. This is where your buyer is investigating, looking for options, and they're going to be experiencing these things. So here's your try messaging. Hotel Brand X is recognized by the Event Industry Council as the most business-ready hotel in Atlanta, regularly serving attendees, sponsors, and exhibitors at the convention center. Visit our website for a full list of services and a 360-degree property tour. Mm-hmm. So you see at this phase in the messaging, you're able to bring them in. You give them the validation that they need that you are an approved hotel. You understand who goes to the convention center and how you can help them. And then the property tour allows them to explore more of it. So this try messaging fits right into what we're trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. Now the buy phase. This is where they're making their selection. You want to justify and reaffirm that they're making the right decision so that they'll book with your hotel. Hotel Brand X is a preferred hotel partner of 97% of the Fortune 500 and offers the best convention and transient rates within a 5-mile radius of the convention center. Aha! Now procurement's not going to fight me when I go book a room at this hotel. I'm safe. Mm-hmm. Now we went through the buyer's journey. We got our customer. All these people are booking at our hotel. Adopt and advocate. So in the adopt phase, you're implementing a solution. So if we weren't talking hotels, this would be like a software service or something. But in the hotel world, here's what I would say. Join the Hotel Brand X loyalty program to get access to specials, discounts, and room amenities, and even a free breakfast on your first morning. So now not only did I book a room, but I'll become more of a lead for them, and I'm going to get free stuff out of it. So I'm getting value from it. Now I'm going to tell other people that I really like it, which very seamlessly moves me over to advocate. This is where other event professionals are going to go, hey, that new Hotel Brand X just opened up. Are you staying there? I heard it was really nice. Now your advocates, here's some message for them. Hotel Brand X Atlanta is the highest rated business traveler hotel on Yelp. More convention planners choose Hotel Brand X because of our business services than any other downtown property. So your advocates are going to go review you on Yelp. They're going to tell people that you're the hotel that moved all their boxes for them, so they didn't have to do it themselves. They're going to share the success they had at your property with all of their peers.
And I would say, if they had a great breakfast too, from the messaging right before in the nurture, you're going to be like, and the breakfast was bomb. And there you go. That might just be it right there.
So, you think about the offerings you want to give in each level of this, but when we talk through that narrative and buyer's journey, it's not hard to align what's going to go where. So now the next piece of that is what assets go with what piece of content. Now, we talked about this a little bit last week, aligning content to the funnel, where we've got these free tip sheets and checklists and infographics going with the discover and learn, webinars, case studies going with the learn and try. We've got the free trials and demos in that try and buy. And then we've got training, webinars, highlight stories, testimonials in the advocate phase. But how does that relate to this? Well, what is the buyer looking for and what assets are going to go along those lines? Okay, so we've mapped our message. We know exactly what the narrative is going to look like at each phase. So now we need to map the assets to the journey. So talking through the discover, you know exactly what your message is going to be. So where would you use it? Perhaps you're going to use it as an ad in smart meetings, or this is where you're going to pull in those targeted Facebook ads. Now moving to the learn phase, more of the advertorial type of content in a magazine, a smart meetings type thing. Maybe you get a blog posted on BizBash. In the try phase, now you can put in that 360 video of your property. Now you can put in the free one night stay with a qualifying RFP, which they're going to try the property and they have this RFP because they're considering working with you. Maybe you invite them to the fam trip that you're planning. In the buy phase, this is where, did you know, you probably don't, but you might know that within something like Concur, there is SEO inside there. There's search engine optimization inside your corporate planning, your corporate travel tools. So if you're the hotel, you can actually work with Concur or other hotel search software and get your search engine optimization to have your hotel come up first within the search inside a company. Also in the buy phase, maybe people get a free opening night reception with a room block of 20 or more people. Maybe for 5 upgrades and 3 staff rooms for every 30 room nights. These are things that you can put in there, mapping exactly what's happening in the journey with what you're trying to accomplish. Now, the adopt phase, an email invitation after they've checked in to join the loyalty program. Loyalty offers and discounts are going to come after that. So that's how you're going to keep them engaged. Now, in the advocacy phase, sharing with them quotes from previous event managers who've held events there or have stayed there, and then getting their feedback and testimonial to use for future marketing, featuring those testimonials in advertisements. Now you've come full circle because now we're in the discover phase where our ad in smart meetings is featuring the testimonial that you got from someone else who is advocating for you. So that is how the funnel becomes a circle. You've mapped all your assets to the journey. Voila.
Poof.
Poof. All right, so we have been through the full narrative. We have been through the full buyer's journey. And now I want you to take a moment and think through full funnel marketing for a conference with all of this in mind. We've seen this slide before with the discover and what you're going to do at each moment. And so your homework is to now take this and go map out a narrative with each one. So sending out a press release, publishing your sizzle reel videos, potentially paying for placement for advertisements in the discover phase. What's your message going to be? And you have a worksheet as part of this class so that you can go fill out each of the pieces here. And this is going to give you an example. Think about your next upcoming event. I want you to write down at the top of it what the event is. I want you to mark down in the discover phase what your message is going to be. In the learn phase, what your message is going to be. In the try phase, your message, the buy phase. So go through it all. Don't cheat. This is for your education. Oh, that was fun. I love this stuff. We've gone through it. It's super duper fast, but I think it's a blast. And hopefully I didn't talk too fast for you. Today, you learned about performance marketing, demand gen, lead gen, cohorts, personas and avatars, and campaigns. So now that you know the basics, you can leverage or create an empathy map for your target persona to better market their needs and enhance the attendee experience at your events. You can understand what campaign managers are doing when they tell you they're setting up a marketing campaign. You can understand exactly how leads are qualified and scored. You can now converse with marketing and sales colleagues about opportunities and wins and understand how and when they're attributed to your events. And you can confidently explain how your events are contributing to the bottom line. Remember, the ultimate objective of all of this content is to help you ladder up in your career. And by having those more strategic conversations and using all of these phrases and understanding exactly how marketing works within your organization, that's how you're going to do it.
That's all the secrets.
That's all the secrets.
Right there. Literally, it's missing nothing.
So last week we did that introduction to the funnel, demand gen, buyer's journey, persona, full funnel marketing. This week we hit personas, empathy maps, narratives, creative campaigns, qualifying leads, lead scoring, all those TLAs. Next week, we're digging deeper into digital marketing. This is going to include CRM systems, marketing automation, e-nurture and nurture streams, gated content, lead magnets, and channel, multi-channel, and omni-channel marketing. We're super excited about next week. See you soon.